sorry we got disconnected. If you were watching our previous stream, we're at the Funimation headquarters and we're doing a tour of the promo video department right now that handles trailers, clips,
GIFs,
videos that go on our Instagram and Twitter, and so we've kind of gone around and met a couple of people. We're talking to Walter right now, who's one of our video editors. Guys can also go back and check out the previous stream in a little bit. But yeah, so we talked about some of the work that you've done. You showed us how it all comes together. How did you get here?
How did I get here?
How are you here right now?
It's
Tell me.
A long journey when I was a child. I went to school for video production, and I was really kind of focusing, I was getting more into the camera stuff and whatnot, and then they introduced, I finally took the first editing class, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, I don't have to deal with people, I can just edit videos, and then when you learn motion graphics, I was like, oh, I like doing art, so I was like, oh, I could do both of these and just kind of make my own videos of almost animation, if you will. So I got really into that, and went to Art Institute at Dallas, and graduated, and some people there were like, hey, there's a place in Texas, they're called Funimation, they look for video, I don't know if you know about it. I'm like, what? And at the time I didn't know Funimation was in Texas, and I was like, what?
A lot of people don't know that.
And this was back in 2006, so they were in a small building in Fort Worth, and
you've been here for almost 10 years.
Yes,
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It's been a long time. I went for interview, got the job, and when I was interviewing, they're like, hey, so we're looking for a person to edit trailers for our shows, and it's crazy because at the time I used to watch a lot of anime, from Toonami to Trigun, Evangelion, and renting on VHS, renting on VHS and DVD, buying the single stick DVDs, and I would love watching the trailers, and I just never even thought that was a possibility. Like, oh, someone had to make those, and that's a job, and it was
and put a lot of thought into it.
It was crazy. So of course when I first started, I was super passionate, and I'm like, every trailer's gonna be the best thing ever made, and you're not getting this change, I want this, but it's then because you wanted to make those trailers that I got excited about watching on the Z's, and I was wanting to make those same things that people were excited about. So anyways, it was cool, and then you started Funimation, you're just like, oh my god, there was just all the raw tapes of footage of all the episodes, you have people in booths going in and out recording, and you're just like, you're at the water cooler and you're seeing the voice actor of Vegeta. Hey man, what's up? And and even sometimes in the bathroom, and it's just very weird. So
Vegeta in the bathroom.
It's one of those whoa, you're the voice of that one character, just talking, and it's still kind of fun to hear that every now and then around around the office. I was just making trailers, and and it's just one of those things that just like, wow, this is really cool. I'm actually doing what I never thought I always would love to have done, just never really thought about it being a job, and it's such, like I said, been here for almost over 10 years, and it seriously hasn't gotten old, because there's just so, anime's crazy, and it's more popular than ever, and from all the new shows, Attack on Titan Season 2 to constantly One Piece.
Connection. We're back. We're
good.
Oh, sorry guys, it's raining.
Well, speaking of Dragon Ball Super, we have the graphics up here that you talked about.
Yeah.
And so those are made by Roger, and we're actually going to go over and see how those are made.
Yes, go check them out. Thanks a lot, Walter. Facebook. Thanks, Lauren, and man behind camera, Jay.
I'll leave you alone.
Thanks, Walter.
Enjoy the tour.
Hey, Ron.
What's up, Roger?
I'm here to bug you.
Hey, Lauren.
So I'm sure you heard, because we were right there. Walter is telling us about how edits and trailers get put together, and mentioned the motion graphics, which are motion graphics wizard.
I try.
You try and succeed. Our motion graphics are pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So, show us a little bit, show us how it comes together.
Yeah, so I specifically do motion graphics and a little bit of editing, but how Chris said in there, one motion graphics person and then 4 editors, but I also have to do some editing because there's a lot of work, obviously. And so for example, I can show you guys some stuff. My boss and I'm sure you've seen this logo animation. So we did this here in-house, and that was concepted by Chris and I, and then we took it all the way from sketches all the way to the final product, and that was really fun to make.
Looks sharp.
So we try and incorporate all things, cast a wide net over, all the anime genres, you know what I'm saying? To encapsulate it and coalesce into our logo that you see
Make
in
it
front of us.
fancy.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we do over here. And that's on the super fun scale, so... And also, Lauren was talking about, we have, like, a wide variety of shows and stuff, of course, as you know. So there's, like, super testosterone-y, like, Dragon Ball Z, Attack on Titan stuff. And then there's also, like, Live, Love, Sunshine and, like, super cutie, like, idol stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I'll have to do something like this. This is Attack on Titan stuff. And this is an example of a non-trailer promotional video. So we were trying to, get hype for season 2. So I do kind of stuff like this, which is more close to actual in-house animation versus what people think we do here. But so in fact, like, this is as close as we get to real animation, and the design team gives us a lot of help whenever coming up with some of the style guides for all this type of stuff. But then I also have to do, like, super cutie stuff. Let me see. I have it up here somewhere.
We're gonna look at your pins.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. These are my my hero pins from social. I always go over there and annoy them, and I'm like, "What y'all got from them cons for me?"
Because these were all convention exclusives that we did. If
Yeah,
you guys don't get to go to
exactly.
a lot of conventions. We released a bunch of pins at each convention throughout the last 2016 and 2017.
So that's San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, Otakon, Acon.
Yeah, Anime
But you know,
Fest.
I got them
Anime
work
Expo.
perks. You know what I'm saying? But then let's see. I have a super cutie one that I did. If I can find it. Here's Yuri on Ice. So here's a little bit of Yuri on Ice stuff. I had to do the motion graphics for the slates, and like Walter was saying, kind of get that production value up there, make it feel Hollywoody
so
and stuff.
pretty.
And then the trailer is a little different. Yuri on Ice trailer.
Some of the motion graphics that I see you do blow my mind.
Thanks, girl. I'll be trying out. Sometimes we have tight deadlines, but icy, Yuri on Ice, channel the ice. That was the art direction on that one right
Got
there.
chills.
And then
It's bad.
this is an example of something I did for Mob Psycho, which is like
this is so cool.
I hand animated some spoons and some other school items that Mob would use. So I thought it'd be fun to like really take it there because I really like the title and I really love the show and stuff. So sometimes if we have enough time, I'll really I'll step outside the box and really try and go hard on it.
So what is the software that you use for this?
I use pretty much the Adobe suite. So as you can see here, After Effects, Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere, Media Encoder, and then a little bit of Maya for some 3D stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. But then I also have to do some glittery stuff. I was like, how many sparkles can I put in this graphic right here
All
for
of
the
them.
Love? I was like, let me put all of this, all
Love,
of the
Laugh,
sparkles.
Sunshine, Mad Sparkles.
Yeah, check that out.
It's cute.
Very cute show, We gotta run the
Good job.
gamut around here.
Sweet.
And also, so a lot of this stuff takes like a lot of time to render and cook sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I composite it all together and then you hit render and it takes like anywhere from like 5 minutes to like an hour depending on how like intensive it is. And during that time I like to draw pictures. Lauren's sitting on my pics.
My bad.
So I'll draw pictures while I'm waiting or something. Or we like to keep the inspiration on deck. So we got like, me and Walter share a lot of like books and like inspiration just because we do a lot of art outside of this that isn't necessarily video work. But you will find that the bridge between those two is quite short if you actually think about it. So.
And you guys you do like drawing Wednesdays and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. We have like a little group in here. We like to go to coffee shops and draw. Or over in Creative, there's another design table that we like to get down, just draw pictures, Get away from the computer screen, relax those eyes a little bit, loosen up. You don't know how it is.
Yeah, so like we see a lot of people send in fan art And while we don't actually animate or draw the shows here in-house, there's still a lot of stuff that you can do if you're an artistic person. Even if you're not making the show, you can make all of the other stuff around the show.
If y'all want to come a little closer, Insider Baseball right here. Check this out.
I was looking at
This
that
ain't one of our titles, but boy, do I love some. Haikyuu, don't tell anybody. We have secret fans of other titles that aren't our shows
that's
that I
okay.
really like. But
We all watch a lot of stuff.
exactly. So we watch it all, and we are all
Death Note.
huge fans of anime.
Yeah.
I actually got those for free. Work perks.
Hey.
Better watch out. And then Street Fighter fan, you know, got more Dragon Ball Z. Fan of the Sailor Scouts, Final Fantasy. Y'all know how it is.
Sweet. Thanks,
But
Roger.
yeah,
We're gonna
no
go look at
problem.
how the music gets on these trailers.
Thanks, Roger.
Bye. They also do really good audio design and make my metal clinks and swishes and wind gusts. Like, they do a lot more than music over there. So.
It's real fancy. You guys are gonna
Bye,
see.
y'all.
So we also have my editors. We're gonna just wave at them really fast because they're working. There's Casey, Enrique, and Tara as well. And then I'm gonna go in here. Hello.
Hi.
It's us.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hi.
How's
this
it going?
is Andrew.
Hello. Hi. How's y'all's tour going so far?
Good.
Going good.
Good.
So
Cool.
we talked to Chris a little bit. We
Cool.
talked to Walter. We talked
Okay.
to Roger. So we saw how the trailer comes together. We saw
Sweet.
the graphics,
Sweet.
and now show us how the sound effects and the music come together.
Cool. So the basically when the editor gets finished with
Sit down here with you.
sure, yeah. Do you want a chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you basically once the editor gets done with oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff in my room. There's like a little recording spot back there
Yeah,
if we need like
this is
brief
neat.
VO, you know, it's a deadening sort of device. I've got some extra MIDI keyboards. I've got a lot of toys.
This is a cool room.
Thank you very much. It's mostly soundproof, you know, because we deal with trailers need to be loud and exciting, so we basically do as much loud
So cozy. I was like
sound.
coming in
Yeah,
here.
right. Yeah.
So cozy.
Thanks. So basically, once the editors get their trailers sort of to a place that they are comfortable with the edit, they send over what's called an OMF, which has all of the pieces that they've been working with already kind
Can
of
you see this?
in place, right? So when I get this, the music is edited the way they wanted to. At least it's chopped up correctly, and I do volume stuff. I'll explain in a second. But the pieces that I get generally are music.
As the embers of World War
So that's the whole thing together. There's music.
This is all so cool.
Thanks. So this is a compressor. It's an EQ up here. So the music by itself. I get the dialogue.
Institutes, a clandestine spy training agency.
There is a video track up here, right? So that's so I can watch what I'm doing. There is my breakdown. Everyone does it a little bit differently. This is Pro Tools, by the way. So I like music, dialogue. These are sound effects down here. So let's see. These three guys, I think, are a small explosion. Right?
That's cool.
And these things are kind of like it's all basically a big puzzle that I'm putting together. This is I like to do reverbs separately. So by themselves, they sound like this. With a little bit of reverb. Just a little bit bigger, a little.
That's cool.
Reverb does a lot in trailers. It just adds a little bit of extra sort of like kind of excitement or sort of like
Makes it hype
intrigue or
and
something.
epic.
Yep. So basically, yeah. So this is all of these pieces have to fit together, and all of these wiggly lines here. There's a couple of different ways you can do this, but this is volume automation. So the music needs to be exciting in one moment and get out of the way of the dialogue in another moment, basically. Or the dialogue or the sound effects or all the different pieces have to sort of fit together. So basically, I am putting together a sort of dramatic puzzle.
Very dramatic.
And so there's the guys on the other side of the building that do the mix for the shows themselves. They have this big dynamic range to work with. So when you're watching a show or a movie at home, you can have like really, really quiet stuff and really, really loud stuff and everything in between. But the trailers on YouTube, generally, because people are watching stuff on their phones and it's got to come out of these
You
little
guys
bitty
might be
speakers.
watching on your phone right now.
Exactly. So I've got to do stuff that's sort of, everything is kind of up next to each other. Everything's really sort of like exciting and excited and loud and sort of dramatic. So we do a lot of compression, a lot of volume automation, a lot of that. There's a lot of tricks to this kind of stuff. This is a relatively simple trailer, but the reason I pulled it up is because the other half of my job is that I actually get to write music sometimes for trailers. A lot of times it's music from a show. So like if a show has like Yoko Kanno music in it, I'm not gonna replace the Yoko Kanno music, right? Yeah, like because we're not gonna mess with everybody's favorite part of the show. But occasionally, like Walter, the editor out there, he had an idea for this trailer, and it used actually some Danny Elfman music that was in
that's cool.
Yeah, right. So it was in a different trailer that was a kind of a, this is the Danny Elfman music, right? I can't probably play too much of that here. I'll mute it and you can see the video. Okay, but so
The Imperial Army of Japan.
I am basically tasked with watching the trailer and then coming in and using the temp music that Walter gave me, in this case something Danny Elfman wrote, and coming up with something that is hopefully just as exciting and the same sort of genre and tone.
And works with the edit.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Right. So I am trying to, so for example, when I'm writing music, I am writing something that is trying to follow pretty closely the sort of dramatic beats that Walter's putting into the edit. So, for example, the editors often rely on music and a title slate kind of lining up at the same kind of big dramatic beat, right? So something like this, just the music by itself. Right, and then it gets out of the way of the dialogue.
Stream, enjoy the serenity, endure the harsh winds, survive the sudden storm, and flow into the open ocean, where nothing but boundless freedom awaits you. They will go down with their ship. Japan was in.
Right, so it's
That's so
And that's
cool.
Joker's game, correct?
Yeah.
yes, right, yeah, it's real neat show. I don't know if anybody's checked it out, but it's one of my favorite ones that I got to work on recently, so I pulled that up. But yeah, so that's
I saw
the
this
basic
trailer recently and
Yeah?
was like, oh
Yeah,
my
thanks, Lauren.
god,
Thank
it's
you.
so good.
Thank you. Yeah, this was a really neat thing because there are so many different sweet genres that we have just under this roof, right? Like we have something like weird espionage, like spy stuff. There's Keijo, if everybody's familiar with Keijo. I got to work on that show a little bit.
Sometimes it's slice of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of sweet
mecha,
romantic.
yeah.
Absolutely. So it's really neat to be able to do all kinds of genres of stuff. Generally, when I get to write music, there's time to make the trailer. There's like more time to, like sometimes our trailers, the turnaround needs to be like literally 3 or 4 days, right?
Yeah.
So music, it needs to come from the show, or we license something or something like that. But if there's like 2 weeks to work on a trailer, then maybe I can write a piece of music.
Craft something.
Right.
That's really cool.
So the editors these days kind of like, they try to wait until there's like a cool opportunity to do something, something like this, for example. And then occasionally, like Austin, the guy next door who's got a really rad rock and roll background, the Attack on Titan trailers, for example, like he writes this like huge, like, music,
How is that?
Yeah, and then there's sort of weird dramatic stuff like this. Okay, and then the other, so Pro Tools is where I mix everything, and these are all the pieces. And then the other piece of software that I use most often is Logic. It's one of the standard kind of, they call them digital audio workstations, or a DAW. There's a bunch of different brands that people like. Austin and I both happen to like Logic.
Cool.
But so this is a piece of music that I was working on for a different
very
show.
Complicated.
It is pretty complicated. So
Not gonna
basically,
lie.
so here are this window is all of the instruments together, and
Gotcha.
this particular
wow.
piece has 36 instruments
Whoa.
on it. So it's this big, full sort of orchestra thing.
So this is where you write the music?
Absolutely,
And what we
yeah.
saw before is where it all gets...
Mixed together.
Got
Exactly.
it. Got it.
So all of these pieces here, these represent notes. So like this is... but then all the pieces, like, so there's strings, there's drums, there's horns, there's all kinds of cool stuff. So when all that comes together...
Is this fairy tale?
Fairy tale. Yeah. I don't know. that's mixed a little bad. Anyway, so there's
It sounds so cool. Though.
Thanks. So there's generally when that comes together, I think I can. There's another thing that I do. I'll show you real quick. Ooh, no, I don't want to log out.
Oh.
Let's see. Open recent session.
That's all right. Facebook Live kicked us out earlier because of bad connection.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's been happening
Cool.
all day.
But yeah, so this a lot of times I'll write in Logic and I'll come back and mix I'll even sort of be able to mix the song in Pro Tools if I want to, because there's lots of sort of dramatic pieces that will like Logic has some tools, Pro Tools has others, so we need to make it more
work
exciting.
together. Yeah.
Anyway, I can show you that kind of stuff at a different time.
It's crazy that you
but-
guys do this entire process for every single show.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Every single show,
Yeah.
every old catalog show that we get, every movie. You guys do the theatrical as well.
Right. Yeah.
Every new simuldub, which is usually like 20 shows a season.
Right, exactly.
So
yeah.
the fact,
the trailers, the editors
insane.
and us, our turnover is super high. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like I said, I'll literally have a couple hours in an afternoon to do a mix. It's that fast. Sometimes it's a couple days. Sometimes it's less than a day.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on schedules and when the editor was, there's all sorts of pieces that kind of go into it,
You guys have all been working together for a pretty
few
long
years.
time,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you all
which is-
seem to really know
Right.
each other, and
That's a really good point. I really like that because each editor is totally different to work with, absolutely, and you kind of get like a feel for what each of them is looking for. Enrique is like really, really, really detail oriented, and he loves these little give me this little sort of peek through or something, and then Casey kind of goes he gives me broad instruction and goes just do it, and comes back and goes try something else, So it can really be kind of anything, which is really neat. And they all have different approaches to editing and different styles. So the trailers turn out different ways because of which editor gets it.
That's cool.
It's really, really neat. Yeah. So this writing this complicated nonsense is not on every trailer, thank goodness, because we'd be
There's
overwhelmed.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But the mix is absolutely a thing that happens. Sometimes I'll do literally a couple a day if I have to. So it's all over the place. But yeah, and the only reason it would go to Austin instead of me or vice versa is that he and I both have sort of a wheelhouse, like I said, he's got kind of a rock and roll background. I'm a little bit more movie score traditionally, but we both do both.
Yeah.
So it can kind of, the trailer might go to Austin because it's got sort of a dark, sort of stormy kind of feel. It might go to me because it's sweet and romantic or something. But again, we both do both, so it really depends.
So a question that we get a lot, and I get this even at conventions when I'm standing at the booth because we play our trailers overhead and people hear the music. We also get them on our YouTube comments. Is where can people get this music?
Oh,
you
sure.
guys make badass songs.
Thanks.
And so sometimes, like he said, it's from the show, and
Sure.
that it's from the show. We can't give that to you.
Right. Yeah. So if it's from the show, please watch the show.
Yeah. There you go.
But if Austin and I make music, we both have SoundClouds. Mine is SoundCloud / Andrew Manson. My last name is Manson. Austin's Austin Black, so look for him. I think I've reposted songs from his, so if you find mine, you can find his. And then I think that's basically it. I have a couple other places, but SoundCloud's the best place to find that kind of music if you're looking for the music.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's the general gist, and it's a really neat job, and I don't take it for granted, that's for sure. Yeah, because it's
Thanks for giving us a peek into your
For
world,
sure,
into
for sure.
your cool room and
somebody
everything.
opened my door once.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's great. No, it's a little cave-like in here
Yeah.
sometimes,
Well, thanks. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No problem.
All right,
Thank you.
we're gonna get out of here.
Enjoy
I think
the rest
that's
of the
it
tour.
for us today.
Cool.
We're probably gonna do different departments. I think on a couple of different days. So
Oh,
thank
sweet.
you guys for hanging out with us.
See you later.
And we'll see you the next time.
Bye.
Bye.